This conference will now be recorded.
Hello, everybody. Thank you very, very much for your presence today on your Sunday and being with this group. I'm just delighted to see everybody today. And but on the agenda, what we have this morning is to basically we're going to talk a little bit about how to start a planetary city of light. Also, we're going to get into the country coordinators, those that are available, to share a little bit about what's happening in each of their countries. And then finally, we're going to have a channeling by Juliana. The purpose of today's presentation really is to delve into the specific steps involved in starting a planetary city and ocean reserve of light within a specific area or community. Since its inception, really the beginning of this project in 2009, we have experienced an extraordinary growth and rapid growth, and this is continuing. We have reached an impressive milestone of 114 cities around the globe. And I'll break that down to 89 planetary cities of light and 25 ocean reserves of light. This year alone, we have activated 12 new planetary cities of light and 3 new ocean reserves of light in 3 different countries. So that's remarkable. And given this remarkable progress and the immense enthusiasm and interest surrounding the project, we felt that it was important to go over the step-by-step process for launching a PCOL or a PORL. And I'm going to preface this by emphasizing that all the information that we're going to be sharing with you, and that is the committee be sharing with you today, is readily available on the website and in the PCOL manual, both in English and in Spanish. This comprehensive guide contains everything that you need to know to start and maintain a planetary city of light or planetary ocean reserve of light, and no additional training is required to get started. So, what is a planetary city of light? It's a spiritual designation that holds deep spiritual significance. It elevates it to the state of holiness and sacredness, and it radiates that pure essence of fifth dimensional light. The concept of the planetary cities of light that was introduced by the Arcturians is transformative, and it aims to contribute to the creation and the elevation of the spiritual energy field of our entire planet, while also serving as guardians or protectors of those actual cities of light, which are really spiritual epicenters. And within them, of course, all of us, starseeds, work diligently to sustain and maintain a powerful spiritual vibration. And this is very important. It's very important also to understand that what we're doing here in creating a planetary city of light is sacred work. It's an intentional endeavor to anchor and amplify these higher dimensional light and energy. And we're utilizing the divine power of the crystals. Once it's activated, the city becomes your responsibility to nurture, safeguard, and to expand. As a steward, when we are all stewards of the cities of light and ocean reserves, we embody and channel the higher realms of light and consciousness. In fact, in one of the channelings, I believe it was Mother Mary, she talks about all of us become planetary cities of light. We embody that. We embody the values of what we're creating. And through our unwavering commitment, we pledge to anchor, hold, and preserve this elevated light. And we're shielding these areas or these cities and reserves from this lower third dimensional energies. And here's the remarkable part. As your PCOL or an ocean reserve springs to life, it becomes an integral part of a magnificent, interactive, and interconnected global network of cities of light. I'm just going to ask you to step back for a moment and imagine this. And this is really cool. Imagine a vibrant tapestry woven with interconnected threads, where each city and each reserve within the planetary cities of light and planetary ocean reserves of light emerges as a unique entity with its own distinct character, strengths, and weaknesses. Now just imagine that for a moment. And as this luminous centers, you're seeing all these luminous centers linking together within this global networks, their strengths are shared and their weaknesses are fortified. forging an unbreakable bond of resilience. This is the power of the network that we're talking about. I kind of look at it like spokes of a wheel converging at the center, and each spoke is contributing a vital piece to the supporting the unified whole while retaining their individual essence. So you may ask, why do we emphasize this? Because when you step into the role of the planetary city of light or planetary ocean reserve of light, you automatically become an integral part of this profound network. And you assume, and this is the important part, you assume a responsibility to actively participate, contribute, and engage with the collective consciousness of this network. And not to say, this is very important as well, is in addition to having a sister city on the earth to connect with, to share with, that we become, when we create a planetary city ocean reserve, we become receptors of galactic energies. And this is so important because we also want to connect with our star sister cities in the galaxy and other places. So what I'd like to do now is turn it over to Purvesh, who's going to talk to you about what is required to create a planetary ocean reserve or planetary city of light. Purvesh?
Yes, thank you, Bob. Okay, I'm going to share with you the requirements to create a PCOL. First of all, enthusiasm for your area and a calling to higher service. The coordinator must be a GOF member. We require a minimum of 3, preferably 4 committed members to start a PCOL. The nominated area should be a place where people live on a daily basis. Choose a small area at first. If you live in a big city, choose a neighborhood. We recommend that we choose a place which is 1 kilometer by 1 kilometer, 1,000 meters by 1,000 meters. At least one GOF member should live within the area. More members prefer. Encourage studying Arthurian spiritual technologies and teachings of the sacred triangle. Okay, back to you, Bob.
Yeah, I'd like to thank you, Purvesh. Excellent. I'd like to add to that the area that you're choosing is an area you feel connected to. It's very important. An area that perhaps you live in, obviously, it'd be preferred, but it's also important, or neighborhood, it's also important to understand that a smaller area is better because what we want, you can expand later. What we want is we want to be able to maintain that area, and Purvesh is going to talk about that a little bit later. Elisha is going to talk about the activation ceremony and what's involved with that. Go ahead, Elisha.
You have to unmute, Elisha. Now it's good.
Yeah. When you have filled the application and it is approved and the date is settled, then you have permission to start the arrangements for the City of Light. And you can invite people in your area and light workers to help you to arrange this. Then you have to together buried 4 crystals in your arrangement. And the 4 crystals at the cardinal points of the perimeter area, one at the north, one at the south, one at the east, and one at the west. And this is a beautiful time together when you anchor these energies. And on the specific day that you come together again to start the ceremony, then you come together and drink something and eat together. And you meet all of the COF members in your PCOL area. And you can invite any other light worker when you choose to invite. On the specific day, you connect with the telephone or your computer to Davis' GoToMeeting link, as you will with other GOV members around the world together. And Juliano, die will lead the activation. And it is a collaboration of the US in the third dimension and our star being friends in the fifth dimension. And this is a great day for you as a GOV member and all those who are invited and to work together.
Thank you very much, Elisha. And I wanted to just comment on that last statement. It is a joyous celebratory moment when we can gather as a family, as a group of 40 family, to support the new Planetary City of Light members as they activate their City of Light. It's a beautiful experience. All of us have been there, most of us. And so we are contributing our energy, and we're contributing, we're really supporting the whole effort of the project. So thank you for reminding us of that, Elisha. Now, I'm going to step back here for a moment. I want to talk a little bit about PCOL coordinator responsibilities, and then we'll get into the maintenance of the PCOL. First of all, I felt it was important to share this important aspect of our project. The PCOL coordinator is a pivotal member and holds a pivotal role of immense significance and sacred responsibility in the creation of a PCOL or Ocean Reserve. This person, this individual embodies the essence of service to Mother Earth, providing unwavering leadership, guidance, and direction to the PCOL and its members. Now, I look at this person, he or she, as sort of like a multifaceted powerhouse. And I'm going to use those two words, multifaceted, because this person is a facilitator, a coach, a cheerleader, and above all, a true leader. She's a jack of all trades. And I'm going to add counselor to that too. They are deeply devoted to the Arcturian teachings and committed to bringing the higher light and energy to their city or community. And this is something important because every coordinator in their heart feels a calling. It's an unmistakable calling in us. And we know it's different for all of us, but this is a calling to elevate the consciousness of your area, both within yourself and across the planet. So this is huge. So just basic, here's a summary. They're leaders. They lead and support their PCOL and its members. They're committed to the establishment and maintenance of the PCOL. Let's face it, these coordinators are the people that probably had the idea and the courage and the leadership to say, I want to do this. And they formed the Planetary City of Light, and everybody else came on board. And that took leadership to find the members to join in. This person is familiar with the requirements for creating and activating a PCOL Ocean Reserve, as outlining in the PCOL manual. They're familiar with the City of Light project. They're enthusiastic about the Arcturian spiritual technologies of biorelativity and the teachings of the Sacred Triangle, and all of David's books and all the teachings of the Arcturians. And they create and establish a regularly scheduled day and time for the groups to meet, at least once a month, preferably weekly, if that's possible. They lead discussions on the spiritual technologies of the Sacred Triangle, David Miller's material. I've seen PCOLs, I've done it, where we actually go through the books and look at the different, and study each of the different books to generate interest, to generate discussion. The PCOL coordinator creates an atmosphere of unity and cooperation in the group by encouraging members to share their experiences. I can't emphasize this enough. The members need to feel that they're valued, and I think they feel their value and they can share their experiences. And also, you're going to find as a coordinator that you're going to be there, step in there to bring some more unity into your group. That's important because on the next one we're going to see where the PCOL coordinator says provides compassionate guidance to help resolve any doubts and conflicts. Well, guess what? You're going to have doubts and conflicts in your PCOL group. You're going to have a spiritual ego, which is going to show up. And this is going to require you to step in and provide some guidance to help resolve these doubts and any other conflicts that come up. The PCOL coordinator fashions a cohesive group energy in meetings and guides a group in planetary and personal healing. And last but not least, this is very important. ensures that members participate to the best of their ability in strengthening the PCOL network through their regular participation in group meetings and PCOL network meetings. This is not just a coordinator. We're talking about all the members participating to the best of their ability and their time in the activities of the Group of 40. Okay, I've seen coordinators who encourage their members, and this is important, to participate in the Q&A, and they do. And so this is very important. So I want to emphasize that the PCO coordinator, in conclusion, is an embodiment of purpose. It's devotion and inspired leadership. And I consider them a servant leader. They are an example, and people in their group would want to emulate them to some degree. Okay. And of course, we all bring our issues with us, okay. And so I'm going to turn it over to Purvesh, and he's going to talk about the maintenance. Once we activate the PCOL, the hard work is really maintaining that fifth dimensional energy. Go ahead, Purvesh.
Thank you, Bob. Yes, very important, the maintenance aspect of the PCOL, because once we pass the enthusiasm of the activation, that we get very high and very focused, then slowly, there is a down curve that we start losing enthusiasm and energy. And that's why we recommend to meet regularly. Actually, I would say weekly is the ideal, also monthly. But weekly is the ideal because monthly is just by the time 30 days pass, the energy is already down and the enthusiasm is a little bit down. So weekly help us also to maintain our spiritual power, our archon power that we are building. The maintenance is like building a house to continuously keeping up with the energy. And if some groups meet monthly because of work, because of personal situations, but I recommend weekly because people get more cohesive, people get together and they build their archon power. So weekly to meditate, to maintain and enhance your PCOL. Also, the monthly reactivation meditations can be found on the website in the PCOL application and maintenance meditations in the Groupofforty website. Sometimes you want to have a guide to do the meditations, or sometimes you want to use the energy of the activation meditations, and all this meditation can be found in the website of the Groupofforty in the PCOL area. Okay, back to you.
Okay, Purvesh, thank you very, very much for that. And I'd like to walk you through or talk a little bit about the application responsibilities and walk you through a sample activation very briefly. For the application, and this is on the website as well, is you want to request the application form from your country coordinator. If you don't have a country coordinator, then you can request it directly through me, the international coordinator, at rmaldopcol@gmail.com. As I mentioned, it can also be found on the website. Yeah, you want to fill in the application form with relevant details. And I found that it's really interesting when you fill it out with your group. And you can coordinate work, maybe have some sections being divided up, however you want to do it, but make it a process where everybody is participating. And once your application has been filled out and reviewed by hopefully the coordinator and all the members and your country coordinator, obviously you submit it to your country coordinator, they're going to review it, and I'm going to get into this here in a little bit more. And in the absence, you send it directly to me, and I'll take a look at it. The next step is that we'll submit it to the PCO Advisory Committee, who will review and approve all applications. We look at these very closely. We enjoy looking at them in the committee. In fact, we looked at 6 of them last month. So we're awful busy. We spend most of our time looking at applications, and we're just absolutely astounded, really is a word, by the quality of applications that we're seeing. Unbelievable. Compared to the old days when we used to submit them, these are just, the standard has gone up, and we enjoy it because it's like reading a new book. You open it And you go, wow, I want to know more, and it's just fantastic. And so what I'd like to do is just briefly talk about the steps here. And it may be kind of intimidating for someone new trying to learn it, but you just basically, very important and often overlooked is the name of the proposed PCOL. Well, I think the name has a vibration. And so whatever name you put there is you ought to be proud of that name and make sure that that's the name you want. We've had names like Sacred Triangle, Sananda. We've had names like Love of Gaia, phenomenal names. Verde Tierra, which is green earth, arcoiris, rainbow. I mean, it has to fit your city. So find something, and it doesn't have to be an exotic name. It could be anything. Okay. But remember, a name has a vibration. Okay. Country, state, city, neighborhood, size. We'd like to know the size of the neighborhood, not the entire city. Population within the perimeter of the PCOL. Now, why is that important? Because let's say you have 3 members and you have a population of 150,000 people. That's a lot of it. That tells us that's a pretty big area, a large population with 3 members. It may be difficult to maintain that. So again, within the perimeter of the PCOL, as Purvesh mentioned, a 1 kilometer area is probably ideal, and we want to know a little bit about how many people are living there. Spiritual energy of the area. This goes back and forth. It could be traditional Catholic, evangelist, depending, but also give us a little feel for what it's like. The spiritual energy. What are you dealing with when you create a city of light? What is a spiritual energy? That's an important area. Important details, anything you want to add. If it's near a river, if it's near a big city, sometimes we hear details like there's gang warfare, there's violence, there's narco trafficking. This is also important because when you create a PCOL, you're going to be dealing with some of these energies and these details. Okay. Are you willing to participate in monthly meetings and respond to emails? Now, this is very important because when the coordinator tells us in the committee that, yes, you can approve my application, but we're going to participate in monthly meetings and respond to emails. This is an important responsibility of the coordinator, is to be there. And so I can't emphasize this enough. We want people to participate. This is part of being in the network. The names are off registered members, and emails only. We only want we want everybody's names, and that's important, but we only want the email of the coordinator. Who will be the coordinator? We want the name of that individual. How many golf members are living in the area? We require at least 1, but obviously more is better. Total number of participants. Preferred activation date. We try to honor that as much as possible, but I'm here to tell you that there is often a laundry list or a list of people that are ahead of you, and we try to be fair and bring people in as they come, or cities of light applications in as they come to us. And so it may be a while to honor that, and we'll let you know. Date of the application. Where did you hear about the cities of light? This is always interesting to me. I'd like to know where you learned about it. Did you learn it from a lecture, David's books, from one of the country coordinators? YouTube video, that gives us a little bit of information. And it says here, we'd like a picture of the proposed PCOL with your application. And this would be the perimeter with the crystal placements. Just shows us where they are in the cardinal directions. And a map that shows its location in the world. Some of these places, folks, I'm here to tell you, you may have heard about them for the first time. And so we want to know where they are, right? And we also really cherish the picture of the group members, the group of the members that are involved. We really want to see the pictures and their names if possible. So for instance, here in Colombia, we had a PCOL in Remedios, Colombia. I know where Colombia is on the map, but I would have never known where Remedios is. It's nice to know that. And perhaps a map of the South America showing where Colombia is for those that don't know where it is on the map. And then you have, this is the area, the crystal placement and area. I'd also like to point out that when David channels Juliano and we do the activation ceremony, typically this is the diagram or the picture that is used. So this is nice to have in your application, and we encourage that. Finally, this is something that we recently added to the application, and I'll be honest with you. One of the reasons we added it And basically, it just confirms what we just talked about, that the planetary cities of light and ocean reserves are a spiritual designation holding fifth dimensional light. You commit to anchor and hold that higher light to protect your PCOL, and you commit to holding certain principles and values and goals. The reason for this is we want to make sure that folks remember why you're doing this, okay? That this is holy, sacred work. And it's so important. Oftentimes we forget this, okay? And as we grow, it's our job as a committee, we want to make sure you see that. It's emphasize it once again. And again, we want all the members to have read this, what I just showed you, and agree and sign, and the country coordinator is going to review this and so forth, and then the application will be submitted. Okay, and moving right along, we're going to talk a little bit about planetary ocean reserves of light, and Purvesh is going to give you a little introduction to that.
Okay. Planetary ocean reserves of light. The requirements are exactly the same as to create a PCOL that we just mentioned that a few minutes before. We need minimum three, preferably 4 members and up. The coordinator should be a GOF member, etc., etc. But with the ocean reserve, then you have the ocean right there, because you have to choose an area near the coastline that you can interact. And then you have the ocean. You can swim, interact with the ocean, boat on. And then also the meditations. You can call the energy of the whales and the dolphins to come and help to protect and enhance the spiritual light quotient of the ocean reserve of light. Remember that you have the ocean, and then, of course, if you have a planetary ocean reserves of light, then your meditation should be focused on healing the oceans. And then we try when we have this planetary ocean reserve of light in the Valdez Peninsula, and every time we do a meditation for the ocean reserve, we just call the help of the dolphins and the whales, and it's incredible how they can add up some energy there. And once you have this connection, then they feel happy to join and be of of help. Okay, and eventually doing all this, holographic healing of the oceans can take place. Back to you, Bob.
Yeah, thank you, Purvesh. And folks, this is one of the most exciting parts of our project is the ocean reserves, and in addition to the cities, because the oceans need this right now. We're seeing this. It's the state of the oceans is terrible. So it's always a joy, really, for us to see extra planetary reserves of light. In fact, what we're seeing now is we're seeing them expanding not just to the coastlines, we're seeing them in lakes, lagoons, and other bodies of water, rivers, for instance, in Argentina. So this is part of the plan, is we want to, all these bodies of water need to be healed. They need this energy. We need to work on that. And so this is a very exciting part of the program. And by the way, Planetary Ocean Reserves of Light, we do have a talking paper, kind of like a Q&A on our website that talks specifically about creating a planetary ocean reserve of light. And so, in conclusion, what I'd like to say is creating a planetary city, an ocean reserve of light, is more than just a regular endeavor, really. It's a profound commitment. It's a commitment to elevate the spiritual energy of an area, answering a calling from deep within. And this is a huge job. And by following the guidelines that we provided and actively engaging in the activation and maintenance of your planetary city or ocean reserve, then what you are doing is you're becoming an invaluable contributor to your community and a catalyst for the healing and ascension of our Earth. And remember, I just want to leave you with this. You're not alone on this journey, right? Reach out to all your fellow planetary cities, your country coordinators, us in the committee, anybody that you need for support. David included, obviously. He's there. Together we can manifest profound change and illuminate this path to a brighter future. And I want to say a couple other things here. Resource-wise, there are plenty of resources. As I mentioned, we have the Planetary City of Light manual, both English and Spanish, and we have revised this manual over the last few years, added a few extra things to it, but it's a very comprehensive guide. It's really the Bible, and it obviously has a glossary in there, which is also important. We have information on the website. We have great video PCOLs. Hopefully, this will be one as well that you can go to that talks about the Planetary City of Light in both English and Spanish. And if you have any questions, you can contact me at rmaldopcol@gmail.com. And I'd like to just extend, here are the committee members, their emails, but I'd like to extend a wonderful thank you to David and Purvesh and Elisha for contributing their time and their experience and their wisdom to this project. It wouldn't happen without them, really. And so we're just delighted to be doing this work, and thank you. And if you have any questions, I'm not sure we have time, but we can, if you want to say, David, I'm going to ask David if he's okay with some questions coming out of this.
I want to add something.
Yeah, Gottman, you want to add something? Go ahead.
Yeah, we just to thank everybody for this wonderful presentation first, and also honoring you for in the committee for all the work you do. So thank you for that too. And also I want to sum it up also with this sentence: the PCOL as a sacred place. It's about becoming and being. It's not about having something. We have a PCOL. No, we are the PCOL. We become the sacred place. We are the sacred place, so to speak. And so I think that sums up one of the wonderful things in the presentation. It's about becoming and being. Thank you.
Bob, you could have people write questions in the chat, and then
Okay.
that'd be the way to do it instead of.
Yeah, or anybody, since we have such a small group, I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's true too.
Yeah. Thank you, Cosmin, for that. Yeah, if anybody has a question, we have a little bit of time because the announcement said 2 hours, but we're not going to do it 2 hours. We're going to do 1 hour. And so I wanted to keep it within that 1 hour thing, if we can.
Okay, then maybe I would add something, Dave, Bob. I would say that we're going to work also further on to present and to bring more or deeper into the consciousness, or help activate or inspire this in all our members, and empower them about the sacredness, about the PCOL, also about the practical aspects. We are going to continue our series on the sacredness with more, maybe more presentations that are related also to the practical aspects of the maintenance. And yeah, we hope to help and support all our members in their PCOS with this, and inspire maybe others to do it. Okay, just let's say that. Thanks.
Okay, that's great, Cosmin. Thank you for that. And that was a big effort on your part to get that sacredness out, those two parts, which was wonderful. Thank you. Very well received. I have a few seconds here, a few minutes. Do we want to get some country reports? Anybody would like to share what's happening in your country? Maybe Cosmin, David, or Purvesh, whatever. Any updates before we get into the channeling? Well, come on. There's things happening, right?
Well, it's all the same. Moving on.
Yeah.
With challenges and with wonderful experiences and gatherings and strengthening each other. I guess one of the main things is now when we meet in the PCOL meditations, it's very important, that aspect of coming together and supporting each other in these crazy times of polarization and separation and confusion. It is good to have each other's back and support each other, and to remember also each other what it means to be in unity consciousness, to be human, yeah, to have that warmth and humanness around. And so I think that's great, and I'm very grateful for all the wonderful experiences and all the PCOLs that are working to do that. That's
Yeah,
it.
that's a good reminder of that, that we're not alone, you know, and we are here for all of us, you know, we're here to support each other. That's very, very true. Yeah,
Antonio
Antonio.
wants to say something.
Hello. I just want to share something. It's about the PCOL sisters. Here in Brazil, I have encouraged all the PCOLs being sisters each other. So we decide to take the Monday morning to meditate all together. So the Monday morning meditation is just in order to maintain, to keep the energy of the PCOL project up. So of course they can do their own meditation separately, but we decided all together that yes, 12 PCOLs. There are 12 PCOLs right now in Brazil. So we try as much as we can to stay together Monday morning meditating. So right now, basically, we are all sister each others. Just to share this thing.
That, that's just wonderful. And I know that
Big
you,
family.
yeah, it's a big family. As Antonio, you also have created, you've also connected all your cities, right? Different areas. You had it like a triangle. You created three cities with each
Yeah,
supporting each other.
yeah, the
You want to talk
geometry.
a little about that? How that's working for you?
Yeah, of course. So that's it. So we started creating the triangle geometry because we want to meditate together because by themselves, by the PCOL meditating by itself was really hard to maintain the energy. So we had a meeting and we decided to meditate creating the geometry, the triangle geometry. And then we decide to take the Monday in order to stay all everybody together meditating. So that's it. And I also want to add that something about the waters, yes, the ocean that you just mentioned it. I think I sent four forms, PCOL forms, last month or 2 months ago, something like this. And they are all connecting the waters. So from the south of Brazil to the north of Brazil, all the waters will be connected. It will
Wow.
be very interesting. Yes. So it's like a water PCOL project.
Great. Bob, you're muted.
I see that as being the future. That's fantastic, is where we can unite all the ocean reserves of light, you know, and
It's
like that.
wonderful.
And this is starting out, you know, you're planting the seed in the country, and then perhaps in the entire network, we can do that at some point. Yeah, fantastic. Purvesh, anything in Latin America? There's all kinds of stuff going on there. Yeah, you know, we can feel the heat.
Yeah, well, we are in a role, a lot of growing. Um, I received 3 or 4 these last few days. Also in Colombia, Marta sent a few applications also. It is happening. I think it's just also the energy is contagious, you know, like the spiritual energy, it builds up and then my neighbor it feels happy, you know, like and starts it's somehow contagious. So that's why it's important to share and to participate uh, and to do weekly meditations and not monthly, because then we fall asleep in the middle and then we have to reactivate from scratch. Instead, if we do weekly meditations, we keep the energy up and then
Mhm.
we're expanding our spiritual energy.
Right, right. Good point. Very good
Great.
point. Very excellent. And I was going to go over to David in Spain. Any David Arribasu, are you with us? David? Bueno, he'll show up when he shows up. Okay. Anybody else before we go into the channeling? Elisha, do you want to share anything about Netherlands?
So first unmute.
Yeah, you're going to have to unmute, Elisha.
Yeah, I know.
There you go. That unmute button is really
Yeah,
hard.
in this city, it has changed a lot. A lot of people are working together, help each other, lend things on each other, and they place on the stations, and it is not only here but also in the surrounding cupboards, and they put grocery in it, food, clothes, everything that they can spare for another. And there was a few 3 weeks ago, I was going in the city do my shoppings, and everyone was happy, and a lot of people are coming here for their vacation, and they were happy, and there was really a kind of vibration in the city. I was not only feeling it but hearing it, and it was extraordinary. It was amazing. And all
Nice.
the energies, the vibes are changing. And lately we have here a strike of people who bring other elder people in cars to places they need to be. And there was a strike. And all the chauffeurs, they have together and make the announcement, we don't strike, we take care of the people. Now, that is a city I live in.
Mm.
Mhm. Nice.
That's just wonderful to hear. I mean, they're contagious enthusiasm. What your energy you're projecting out of your city and in your city is
Yeah,
having an
it's
effect on
amazing. Really amazing.
new people coming in. I mean, tourists and so that's great to see that. Everybody is it's beautiful, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if we have. Let's see. Anybody else before we go to the channeling? So I saw Steven. Anybody? Ariana? Anybody care to share anything else? Okay. No? All right. Okay. All right. Um, Thank you again for sharing and for all of this. I want to thank my committee for doing a wonderful job, doing our committee, really. David's the boss. And so let's go to the channeling, David.
Okay, Bob, there was a question. Looks like we need three people to activate the PCOL. All three members must live in the same city, or can one live a bit far or away from the PCOL? Can you answer that, Bob?
Yeah, I mean, there's probably no hard, fast answer to that other than we would prefer that they live within the city limits, obviously. But we've seen cities where there's been a couple of people in the city, and then there's been some people, 3 or 4 or 5 people outside. So it really
Great.
it's a case by case basis, no hard rule. But we
Yeah.
prefer you see that you obviously maintain the city, the neighborhood that you're in, that you live in that neighborhood. You can live outside of the neighborhood, but that you live in the area. Okay, but with net
Or
modern
yes.
technology, I mean, we could have people living in different places and not have to,
Yeah.
and still have
Bob,
that.
I would say that, exceptions can be made if one person visits and is involved in it. Say they live outside, but they go in it every day, or they're somehow involved
Hmm.
in the city. That would be an important factor.
Yeah, yeah, and that's a good point because what we want, preferably, is for people to meet and in a group and be
Yes.
there physically, if you can. If you can't, obviously, there's a different story, but and physically. So David brings up an excellent point. That we want that.
Yes,
And not the, it's
and
an
it's
exception.
it's great if at least when the activation is within, then okay, it can be also from far away, but yes, it can be involved. It can be involved energetically, or you were a part of that city and you moved away, but you still have a energy connection with that, and your heart and spirit is in the PCOL. But it would be great if at the activation, even if you don't live there, you can be within the PCOL boundaries when the activation happens. That's of course even better.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
remember, a lot of this depends on the area, population, and the size of the PCO, obviously, and the number of members. You could have people meditating for years, and have a very strong energy there. And so losing, and that's why we always emphasize, minimum is 3. More people, the better, because you want to maintain it. And if you lose, let's say one person, that's a large part of that's 25% of your force right there. And so keep that in mind. We want to prefer it, but there are exceptions. We've looked at that. Okay. Any
Bob,
other questions?
Bob, can you put the picture again of the first cover? Yeah, so I'll begin the channeling now.
Okay, David, you're talking about let me see here. Let me get it up. This one here?
Yeah, right. Perfect.
Okay, let me get this. All right, there we go.
All right, I'll start the channeling now. Shalom. 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 Greetings, I am Juliana. We are the Acturians. I want to report that we, the Acturians, are working and have worked with many cities and many planets in the galaxy. We understand that the Earth now is going through stage 1 of planetary development, and that the Earth is at the end of that stage. We describe the conflict that must be resolved in order for the Earth to complete stage 1 and move on to stage 2. The conflict, as we describe it, is technology versus spirituality. So in our view, in our visitations, we found that those planets who have successfully resolved this conflict, this stage of development, have all had planetary cities of light projects. This means that there was a awareness in planetary development of the need to have a planetary city of light project, and those planets that successfully resolved their conflicts had a planetary city of light project. What do I mean by successfully resolve their conflicts? It is clear that if a planet like Earth does not resolve the conflict of spirituality versus technology, then the planet is in danger of self-destruction, or rather destruction of their biosphere. This means that the planet Earth itself could continue, but life, as you know it, in the biosphere would not be able to continue to keep the necessary conditions for a life that you know and can participate in. Right now, as we are talking, you are seeing some of the results of the dangers of the technology that is out of control on the Earth. And many of these Earth problems now are due to overuse of the environment through technology, disregard for being caretakers of sacred areas and conflicts over dominance politically, economically, and socially, instead of cooperation and unity as a planetary group. The goal of the Planetary City of Light project is to raise the spiritual light quotient of the planet. In fact, the goal of the Planetary City of Light project has many aspects. Yes, the primary aspect is to raise the spiritual light quotient. Why is that so key? Because in order for the planet to enter the next stage of development, stage 2, the spiritual light energy field must be raised. And this can only be accomplished when there is large groups of people coming together, working to create sacred cities of light. And these sacred cities of light all are contributing to the raising of the spiritual light field. Now, other aspects of the Planetary City of Light project include creating boundaries of protection. Sacred areas is an important aspect of a spiritual light energy field of a planet. When a sacred area is created, then it is protected by the spiritual light field that the participants in the Planetary City of Light project create. This means that people of lower vibration may not even be attracted or could not even enter the city. This means that environmental projects that are overusing the resources and even destroying resources or polluting resources would be rejected. There are many aspects of protection that a Planetary City of Light can work with. And this includes also the ocean reserves of light, because the ocean is in danger as a biosphere of collapsing. There must be some intervention to create and hold the pristine aspects of the ocean. For without life in the ocean, the biosphere will also collapse. Believe me, you do not want to live on a planet that has an ocean whose biosphere has collapsed. There are many, from our standpoint, predictable disasters and catastrophes that would happen if the oceans collapse, the biosphere in the oceans collapse. This is a crisis. And the Ocean Reserve of Light project, which is part of the Planetary Cities of Light project, is working with what I call holographic energy, which is especially clear in the oceans. When one part of the ocean is being created and holding sacred light, then other parts feel the energy. Now, this is also true in the Planetary Cities of Light project, but it is more true or more strong in the ocean. Why? Because the ocean is one living body. This already is a controversial theme. No one, to my knowledge, or only very few people, look at the ocean as one living entity, one body. Yes, you divide it up into the North, the Atlantic Ocean, the Pacific Ocean, the Indian Ocean, etc., as if there's some kind of divide. But that's your placing this divide on a living entity that interacts totally. And what happens in one part of the ocean is influencing other parts. So even a small ocean reserve of light holographically influences other parts of the ocean. So we are coming to a very important distinction that the project of the Planetary Cities of Light is a vital and necessary aspect for planetary healing and for the graduation into stage 2. That the more cities of light that are activated, the closer we're getting to a 100th monkey effect, where the planets, which have the planetary cities of light, can quantumly leap and move the whole energy field of this planet towards the 5th dimension. After all, we are working together to move this planet into 5th dimensional light. Now, there is one other aspect I want to say about the Planetary Cities of Light project, because the Planetary Cities of Light project is such a vital part of the spiritual light energy quotient, and is such a vital part to help a planet like Earth who's in crisis to resolve this crisis in a spiritual way that leads to higher evolution. And anytime I speak of higher evolution, I always talk about Homo Omega. In order for Homo Omega, which is the next evolutionary state of Homo sapien, to appear, there must be the spiritual light energy field in the planet that will nurture and allow Homo Omega to manifest. And this then shows you that the planetary cities of light and the ocean reserves of light contribute to the overall spiritual light quotient energy field of the planet, which will allow and encourage and accelerate the evolution of Homo sapien to Homo Omega. Of course, there is such an important galactic aspect, and we are working tirelessly to help find new methods so that you could connect with the galactic cities of light around the galaxy. Because there are many other, what I call galactic cities of light, that want and are sending you in your city of light support, activation, and are seeking telepathic communication with you. Yes, we want the planetary cities of light to become a network, because the idea is not only are you creating this sacred space, but ultimately you want to raise the spiritual light quotient of the entire planet. And each individual city of light is contributing holographically to this necessary, beautiful, and spiritual goal. I am Giuliano. Good day.
Thank you, Giuliano.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for
Thank you.
showing up today. And it's so good to see you. And blessings to all of you. And I hope you have a wonderful day, rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Guys.